Good afternoon, Calvary family. It is good to see you today. And believe it or not, we're at day 98 of our shelter in place. So coming up on that 100 marker very soon. 14 weeks that we've been at this. And we are glad to check in with you today. I wonder if you can maybe guess where we are today. No wind blowing, we're inside, and it's been a long time since you've been here, but hopefully you still recognize where we are. I also want to just mention this coming Saturday about Food Pantry. The last couple of Saturdays, we've seen our volunteers drop off quite a bit. So if you can help us out on Saturday morning, be here sometime between 8 and 8:15 to help us pack up. It takes us a little bit over an hour to do that. We could definitely use your help this week as well. The following week will be closed, but this week, if you can help out, we would appreciate that. Well, looking at 3 chapters today in Jeremiah 31, 32, and 33. There's an overriding theme about God's restoration of his people. In fact, one of my favorite passages is found in Jeremiah 31 and verse 3, where he says, I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I am faithful. A couple times in all 3 of these chapters, we see the theme of God restoring himself, or restoring the people to himself. We're making a new covenant, an everlasting covenant. In chapter 31, we find God over 30 times telling the people, I will do this. And then we see over 20 times he says the people will respond this way. And primarily it's a focus on God's restoration of his people and God's people responding with joy and praise and thanksgiving. It really is a fantastic chapter 31. In chapter 32, we find Jeremiah being given a responsibility by God. Jeremiah is in prison. Zedekiah has put him in prison because he doesn't like what Jeremiah is saying, that Babylonians are going to take them into captivity. But God tells Jeremiah to purchase a piece of land. And he says a cousin is going to come and you'll buy this land. And sure enough, this is what happens. And he is to take the deed and he's to bury the deed in a clay pot. And this is to indicate and signify that the land will be returned to the people once again, and that it will be a land of prosperity. Jeremiah begins to ask the Lord and says, how is this going to happen? He acknowledges the Lord is able to do whatever he desires to do. He acknowledges the deliverance from Egypt. He acknowledges delivering the people into the promised land, but also the unfaithfulness of the people. And God affirms, yes, I can do anything. He affirms, yes, the people have forsaken. They've disobeyed. They've not listened and paid attention. However, I am going to restore them to myself. In chapter 33, we actually find there that he says, all nations will know that I have restored, that I have done good to this people. He actually in chapter 33 also makes a promise that on the throne, that there will be a branch of David, a branch of Jesse that will be restored. And this branch is actually called the branch, the righteous one. This is actually really fascinating considering the sins of the people. God says he will forgive their sins, restore them, show mercy. But this branch of righteousness, the true righteous one, will be the one who is on the throne. Obviously, it's a reference to the Messiah, Jesus Christ, and he becomes our righteousness, which we see in Romans chapter 5 and verse 1, when we are justified through his righteousness. It really is a fantastic passage, and he ends with this idea that I will show mercy and I will restore the people to this land. It really is a bit of a transition here as we lead into the next couple of chapters and read about Zedekiah and his end. But for now, Jeremiah 31, 32, 33, great passages to read through, see what the Lord is doing. Until Wednesday, we'll keep you in prayer. We look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Have a great afternoon.